So right now, we are going to honor this space, and we are going to honor the memory of Michael Brown, and we are going to honor all of the Black lives lost this year, and we're going to honor the fact that I have to fight through all these people who said, my life matters!
On August 8th, U.S. presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders was interrupted during a rally in Seattle by two black women who jumped up on stage to draw attention to the plight of black people and continued violence at the hands of police. The action was quickly met with widespread condemnation, followed shortly by a defense of the action and sharp critiques of that very condemnation. The Black Lives Matter movement has been billed as the most important social movement in the United States today. However, the debate that emerged as a result of this action against Sanders has exposed what some are describing as weaknesses in that movement and what others have praised as a victory, especially since the very next day Bernie Sanders unveiled his policy platform to combat racial inequality.
We've seen it just recently, and we have seen it over and over and over again. Seen it with Sandra Bland, but we have seen it many, many times. That it is absolutely necessary to reform criminal justice in America. A person who commits a minor traffic violation, I think she forgot to put on her turn signal, should not be yanked out of her car, assaulted, handcuffed, put in jail, and die 3 days later. That's not what should happen when you commit a minor traffic violation. We must reform our criminal justice system. Black lives do matter, and we must value black lives.
Appropriate or not, the action prompted some of the worst media coverage of Black Lives Matter to date.
She was interrupted by demonstrators shouting Black Lives Matter.
What does it say about how this movement is determined to get its say, even if they have to knock people legibly, more on their side than others off the stage?
In today's media landscape, the fallout from spontaneous and perhaps strategically questionable actions is all the greater. Emerging movements, especially those that represent a real threat to established power structures, have very little room for error. This points to another issue. In her defense of the action, Alicia Garza, credited as one of the founders of Black Lives Matter, said that the movement is a network whose chapters have autonomy. Such a structure inevitably opens the door for generalizations and attempts to discredit the movement, not to mention the lack of cohesion and unified tactics to challenge power. The Black Lives Matters movement continues to grow, and activists might need to grapple with some of these criticisms that have been highlighted during this most recent media coverage. As was seen last week, the actions that they choose will have a real effect on how they're seen and portrayed by members of the Democratic Party, the media, and the U.S. public.